diving into it. So, welcome to Gathering the Roll, the tabletop news program. Everything you need to know about the latest releases in RPGs, CCGs, board games, card games, everything out this week. So why don't we dive right into it? We'll start, of course, we don't have anything for our CCG binder, but we do have some stuff for our RPG bookshelf, so let's dive right on into that part of our show. Guess what? An Unearth Arcana has come out this week. So the Unearth Arcana is basically 3 subclasses for, well, your characters. First off is a Druid Circle, Circled Spores, which is all about mold, fungus, decay, things like that, where you use abilities based around fungus and decay and other abilities. Get fungal body, infestation, things like that. So it's an interesting take on the nature and cyclical versions of nature when it comes to Druid. Also out, we do, of course, have a new martial archetype with the Brute for the fighter. It's all about using brute force, smashing things, crushing things. They get a devastating critical, surviving various things. Very front-forward, tough as nails. They get some bonus damage, things like that. A very interesting take on the fighter that you might want to check out. And finally out for the 3 Unearthed Arcana here, for this month at least, is the Wizard Arcane Tradition School of Invention, which is all about being an inventor. Creating special kinds of armor, recklessly casting things to get bonuses, using alchemical abilities, controlling chaos, using inspiration prestigiously. Very kind of mechanical, so to say. You know, a very scientific approach to wizardom that you might be interesting. You do get proficiency in 2 tools of your choice with that one. So three prestige, 3 archetypes that are very interesting that you might want to check out now for your Dungeons & Dragons game. But let's move on to some interesting news. Modifius has released a number of QuickStart guides. Now, as you know, I'm a big fan of QuickStart guides. They're a way that you can test out RPGs without buying the full versions of the book. So Modifius has released a number of new ones for some of their campaigns. This includes Infinity, Space 1889, Mutant Chronicles, and Elite Dangerous. All of these RPGs, they've released free Quick Start guides that you can check out now on their site, and you can test them out, see what they have in them, try out the games yourself, see if you like them, and see if you want to purchase and buy into it more. It's a great way of not only seeing how RPG system works, getting an idea of the rules, but seeing if it's one that would interesting you with the various settings, character creation, things like that. So now if you want to test out these games from Modifius, you can check out their Quick Start guides now. But let's move on, though, because we do have some card game news from our card game desk. Capital City is available now. It's about animals, Old West, building cities, trains. All these things together are Capital City. That's an easy way about it. It's about Boontown out west. And each round, new settlers are coming by train from the east. And you're going to have the best resources to attract the people to your town. Will you have the next metropolis? Do you have what it takes? It's all about... it's a fast-playing card game that... You're taking a year to build the most famous town in the West, and each season is their city slickers, their kinfolk, coming in to run known businesses on your main street. So you're going to have to hire workers, keep in mind members of the family help each other. Dollars are useful for victory points, just like pure gold. There's a lot of things to get the most victory points to become the mayor of the new capital city out west. The rules are downloadable if you want to check it out. It's $20 to buy it. Ages 8+, 3 to 6 players, 30 to 50 minutes. Some interesting art with like kind of animal characters on it. Capital City is out now if you want to check it out. Link will be in the description when this goes up on YouTube later on today. Alright, we have Bloodbound. Bloodbound is, well, it's a vampire game. That's the easiest way. Vampire clans are fighting it out. There's regular gang warfare that's pretty tough, but when you get supernatural involved, well, yeah. Only by finding the enemy leader and taking out can you get the war to end, and that's where Bloodbound comes in. So it's 2 vampire clans that have coexisted for centuries, ruling the night with a basically tenuous But when the Gargoyle clan begins adding to their ranks more heavily, the Phoenix is forced to keep the peace or perish. And from their conflict, it consumes the clans and ever brings them both to the brink of extinction. Now the remnants of each of these proud groups seeks to discover their allies, capture the leader of the rival clan, and finally end the conflict. You gather your clan around you. It's on sale now. It's all about, you know, gathering your group together, using some cloak and dagger, treachery, betrayal, to seek out that leader of the other clan, to defeat them. You can openly or secretly try to do things, throw suspicions around, use your characters to the best of your abilities to defeat your enemies. It is for 6 to 12 players, 15 to 30 minutes, ages 14 plus. Yeah, out now. That's probably about all you need to know about it. 2 clans battling it out, joining the sides. Which side will you be on? Alright, that is actually it for our card game desk / board game pile. And we don't have anything else. Our party game closet's kind of empty. Our board game pile's kind of empty. Hey, our CCG binder's been empty today. But guess what? We have some Kickstart display for you. So why don't we dive right into that? Because 4 stories does not make a show. But we have a bunch of Kickstarters out this week. So let's start with the first one. Widow's Tear, a cosmic horror for Starfinder. So it's a Starfinder compatible adventure. So it's D20 rules. It's all about space. And this Kickstarter has been out now. So the Kickstarter has 22 days to go. It has been funded just by a bit. It reached its $7,000 goal. It is over it. It is basically Starfinder plug and play with H.P. Lovecraft inspiredness. The galaxy is vast, and you're going to basically be exploring exotic new locations. It's a 160 full-color hardcover book that will explore the inhabitants of a star-stimulated nebula and introduce you to beings that live there. Learn about their unique histories, their futures, their challenges, new technologies, weapons, armor, psionic abilities, magic items, spacecrafts. There is a bunch to it. And many of the creatures you find in here are inspired by H.P. Lovecraft and the Great Old Ones and their spawn. And they can be added to your Starfinder pantheos. So it's the horrifying things you might find on these planets in this location and dealing with it. So it's designed to plug into any Starfinder campaign, regardless of if you're playing in the basic Starfinder universe or one of your own creation. It's got a lot of the cosmic horror inspired things. With $10, you get the PDF. $15, you get the PDF and the introductory adventure. $30, you get the PDF, introductory adventure, and a print version of Widow's Tears. $40, you'll get Widow's Tears, PDF, 48 introductory adventure, and print versions of both. And $75 is when you get the print versions of both books. $40 you get the print version of both books. Yeah, I'm sorry. So, if you pledge at $40, you get the print of both books and both PDFs and introductory adventure. So, a lot of stuff you get at the $40 level if you're interested in this. They do have some stretch goals, which they haven't hit any yet, including Cults of the Widow, another adventure, Secrets of the Widow's Tear, a page count increase, some more iconic horrors, chaos, and another page count increase at 50,000, which hard to say if they'll meet that one. But they have 22 days to go, and they have met their goals so far. So getting a lot of these stretch goals might be a definite possibility if you're interested in checking it out. So it is a Lovecraft version of a Starfinder adventure. Out now. Nightcrawl. It's another RPG up on Kickstarter. This is all about noir. Film noir is things like The Maltese Falcon, Casablanca, and other various good stuff. It's your trench coat wearing detectives dealing with damsels in distress and going on adventures in your 20s, 30s adventures. And this is a tabletop RPG that's inspired by noir. It's taking film noir to tabletop. And there's quite a mouthful that if you're not familiar with the terminology and everything about it, that you might get hit it. So it's going to be set in a big city of your choice, alternate timeline. It's a system that allows you and a number of friends to have a detective drama with gripping action, storm weather, smooth jazz, comforts of your own home. There's mafia, famous actress that are getting murdered, various different things that you could go down to. You can wear your duster coat and, you know, your trilby and go on various, you know, detective guns. Or maybe you want to use a Tommy gun to take down a whole bunch of mafia folks instead of a revolver. There's a lot of weapons at your disposal. So, it is 17 days to go. It has not quite been funded. It is 9/10 of the way funded. So it's pretty close to, actually, with 17 days to go. They're only trying to go for 1,000. A pledge of $10 gets you the PDF of it and a Discord invite. $20, you can have your names listed in the book. You get some more stuff at each level. There's a $20 and $30 pledge too, but at least $10 you get a PDF version of it, of your system. And the thing is, it is meant to employ a wide variety of configured rules so that DM and players can utilize the kind they want in their campaign. If you prefer combat over role-playing, they have ways of doing that. If you prefer grand mystery over style, there's a lot of different ways that you can play, and they're doing it. And they use D20 system. So they make use of a D20 with various skill checks, and your experience particular skills. You might have something like finesse, climbing, things like that that could help you out in your adventures. So, yeah, you can do a lot of different things. You can do things like they do have options for female detective, a cop instead of a detective. You can have a loving family and a day job and go on adventures. So you can take your versionist forms in a lot of different ways. And they do have a number of stretch goals, just to complete game at 1,000, which they're probably going to hit at the rate they're going. And a number of stretch goals up to 4,500, where they'll add like extra campaigns of things like a Night of the Living Dead-esque one, War of the World-esque one, and Lovecraftian-esque optional rules basically put in there. So you can do your noir adventure, but maybe you can do Lovecraftian noir, War of the Worlds noir, or Night of the Living Dead noir if you want to do some of those different things. A lot of options that are really hopefully put in with some of the stretch goals. It's out now. As I said, it's probably going to be funded with the rate it's going. But, alright, Children of the Apocalypse for the Savage World is up on Kickstarter also. So, a lot of times, worlds come to an end, and, you know, different people, different ways, different things that are going on. People often form into their tribes, follow one of 9 gods, influence new paths of civilization. And each of those gods has their own thought in the matter, and only one will be successful. Will humanity rebel against the law to not let them rule? There's a lot of different things, and Children of the Apocalypse is up on Kickstarter now. It's a post-apocalyptic epic fantasy settings for Savage World. So, you're exploring the ruins of the world while seeking out lost technologies to empower the creation of Tinker Mages. Those 9 gods have their daily influence on the society and their followers and downfall of the enemies. It completes a post-plot point campaign for characters and the gods themselves in the fall of humanity. It requires the Savage World core book and fantasy companion for Savage Worlds. So those are important parts of it that you do need. It is a third of the way funded with 22 days to go. They have at 2,000 out of 6,500 that they're seeking. $19 will get you a PDF copy of the book, your name in the book, and all unlocked stretch goals. $25 gets you just a name in the book. $49 is where you get the soft cover of the book and the PDF, your name listed, and all the stretch goals. So, an interesting setting, basically a fantasy apocalyptic setting. Normally we don't get a lot of combinations of those things, but now you do have another adventure that you could possibly put it into. 8 races created by the 9 gods themselves. Information on post-apocalyptic Boston and its surrounding communities, so you can do basically a little bit of Fallout 4 in the Boston area. Rules of magic and technology and theology set in this campaign setting. The plot point campaign, and a guideline for converting your own hometown in a campaign setting. So if you would want to do that, they have a number of they only have an $8,000 stretch goal right now, which I guess they'll have more once they're funded. But Children of the Apocalypse is available now if you're interested in checking it out. Alright, we have the... That was not what I wanted to do. You clicked on something you did not want. Okay, Castle the Archmage Musicland Adventures up on Kickstarter now. It's Castle the Mad Archmage Musicland. It's expansion of the hit Castle the Mad Archmage Mega Dungeon setting, which apparently someone had put together. It has 20 days to go. It has hit its goal of 1,000. It's at 4,000, so it's certainly getting it. It's the third expansion of the Castle the Mad Archmage Mega Dungeon adventure that they've put together. So, in this case, it's Musicland, where instruments come alive, people speak in music notes. If you have played any of these adventures, or maybe you want to get into it, in this, characters are coupled in parallel dimension of Musicland, and the king of the instruments produces melodies that embody the Platonic idea of music itself, with also them talking in instruments and speaking in music. So the Kickstarter is being used to fund art and editing on the adventure. There's additional PDF versions, limited edition, hand-produced printed edition, which they're going to do like 100 of, some signed copies, exclusive Kickstarter backers. The original Castle the Mad Archmage has more than 13 levels and over 1,500 encounters, perils, monsters, traps, and treasures. And there are levels beyond warring humanoids, the deadly ancient artifacts of lost temples, and even the Mad Archmage himself. Alright. For $5, you get the PDF of Musicland. For $30, you get the PDFs only, the castle plus all expansions, which means you get the original Castle of the Mad Archmage, the level 3 East expansion, Bitterbark Circus, and this new Musicland expansion. For $30, you could also get you could have got the print version, which is now gone, so unfortunately you can't get the print version of it, but you can still get all the PDFs of it for $30, for also of all the Castle of the Mad Archmage. Yes. Whew. A lot of things about that. And that's where they're sort of at right now. So, they haven't put any stretch goals up yet, but if you are interested in this basically musical-based adventure, you can get it now. You can fund it now, and 20 days to go, that you can check it out. Alright, we have a number of board games also up on Kickstarter this week. We have Black Hole Council. A secret council is negotiating for the fate of planets. Negotiations are tense, and each member of the council has their own agenda. It's not easy for their planet either. You can be spared, thrown into a black hole, which will kind of, be terrible for you. And you're either looking to become the senior counselor and bet that not every planet's going to be spared. It's a negotiations deductions board game up on Kickstarter. We're basically deciding the fate of 32 planets. And you're a shady member of the council. And you basically have a vendor for your kind of planet. Your goal is to negotiate the agenda and to gain influence and become that senior council member. You can do your rivals' goals so that even better chance to block their plans and dominance for negotiations. And you might toss a few planets to the black hole along the way. So it's funded. It's funded at 125%. They were going for a $20,000 goal. They're at 22 days to go. For $25, you get one copy of Black Hole Console. And that's the only pledge they have right now, unless you just want to do a general pledge of support. Pretty simple. Pretty right there. They do have a naming competition for naming planets, if you want to be involve yourself out. So it's going to be about like negotiations, bribery, voting, adding influence, advancing yourself in the council, using deducing what your neighbors, and winning the game. They have a complete rule book in progress up on their Kickstarter. Let's see here. They do have some stretch goals. At 30,000, improved card thickness, 40,000 thicker cardboard components, 60,000 custom player tokens, and 80,000 custom plastic inserts, 100 who knows what. So they're actually well on their way to the improved card finish. So, that one might hit. 22 days to go. They've already hit the 25. They've already hit their goal. So if you're interested in this now, you can check it out. All right, let's talk about President Bigley. There's a lot of things going on. We're not going to dive into politics with this one, but it's a new card game that's basically a lighthearted take. It's meant to be President Bigley is in the house. Get ready for some chaos. You play along as you create as much chaos as possible and battle your friends to see the best, avoid any sign of tranquility rising in the world. So it's a game about being chaotic. At the end of the game, there's only one pig left standing, the astonishing President Bigley. The card game is simple to learn. Quick play comes from 2 alternate ways to play. Either you embrace chaos and cause the most chaos, last the most amazing pain in winning, or you're spreading tranquility as you race to the exit as soon as possible. If you're the last pig in the game, you know, it's a little lighthearted game of political humor. And it is funded. 30 days to go, $1,000 gold or $1,700. And you get an edition at $25. So they're working on their stretch goals. You know, yep, they have a number of stretch goals. So if you want a lighthearted politics game, that's a good way of saying it. This is a lighthearted political game of pigs and pandemonium. Maybe be interested in it. Maybe you'd like it. Maybe you don't. Up to you. Not judging anything on this one. As I say, I try to avoid politics in what I talk about. So, if you're interested in it, go ahead. Finally, the last one out today is UBoat. Or, UBoat? Is it just UBoat? UBoat the board game. I thought there was a... never mind. So its life of the submarine can be rough. It's catastrophic, and you're fighting enemies that can really can't see you, and hopefully can't detect you, and not just jump overboard if there's a hole in the ship. It's cramped, tense feeling, and that's what they were looking for in this board game. That's a Kickstarter that's out now. Oh, shoot. Whoops. Apologies. UBoat's not live. When I looked at it, I thought it was. They're going to be live soon. So we'll talk about it, I guess, in another week. A couple of weeks it'll be out. It'll come up on Kickstarter. So we'll talk about it when it starts on Kickstarter in a couple of weeks. Otherwise, I'll make note of it so I remember to, you know, keep an eye out on this one. So that we can check it out in a few weeks. But anyway, why don't we call that for today then? I love it when I miss some Kickstarter problems. It's not live yet. Oops. Anyway, well, that's it for the news for this week. I hope you've had a good time learning about the news of this week. Remember, you can always ask me questions here in the chat, on the comments on YouTube. You can email us at discussingtabletop@yahoo.com or message me, Worm, or Joe if it's a question that related to one of these, and we might discuss it long form on Discussing Tabletop. There's lots of ways to reach us with questions. Anything you want to say, any kind of comment you want about any of this stuff, go ahead, talk about it. We love to have your comments and stuff like that and your questions. I'll be back on Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Discussing Tabletop. We'll discuss a number of this week's topics and last week, since we missed last week's Discussing Tabletop. I'll be back next week for more Gathering the Roll, and I hope you have a good rest of the day. I will see you all here tomorrow for RPG in this day.